we honest?
This has a lot of power, I guess. I want to welcome everyone, and we do have a quorum. Vice Chair Siegel will be a little late this evening, but she's coming in. And so before we start, once again, I want to just do a little quote that I saw at the Unitarian Church, that the freedom of the mind is the beginning of all other freedoms, and I think that's really important for us. So once again, I'd like to welcome all of you, and one of the things that I was wanting to do was get more students in here and start working maybe in September to get club members to come in and talk a little bit about their club and talk a little bit about what they're doing with their group. And I think that, to me, it's really important that we get students. Not that it's not important that we have, our faculty and staff, but I would like to see more students, even if it's just for a little while with the club members and stuff. So I've spoken with Carmen Gonzalez, and we'll be working something out starting in September. I'd like to see if we can. Is there any questions on the agenda? And do we have a motion to accept the agenda?
I move that we do so.
Second?
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion to accept the agenda. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the motion passes. And so we're going to move right on to the President's Awards and Presentations, President's Report.
Yes.
Dr. Guzman?
Thank you. Thank you. As part of my presentation, there are so many good things that are happening with the students. And all of us were so proud of the graduation, increasing the number of graduates by 67%, that I asked Pierre and Carmen Gonzalez to give us an update on the Center for Academic Transitions. And Pierre is the director, and
She's the coordinator.
she's a coordinator, but we brought her from UNM. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for having us, Mr. Chair, Madam President, and members of the board. When I was hired on October 1, one of my first charges was to set up the Center for Academic Transitions. So I did end up going to Palo Alto and taking a look at their center, which was very helpful. But I also got the center, and I didn't really get a budget, and I didn't I didn't have any people to run this center, so I had to borrow and beg and steal different people from different areas. But it ended up being a really good group of people. I ended up getting an advisor position that I turned into a coordinator, and heavily recruited Pierre from UNM. And then I had the counselors come in and work there as well, an advisor from the Health and Social Sciences, and then we also had the career services. So that's how we got started, and we'll go ahead and talk about graduation, academic advising, transfer day, career fair, etc., and all the things that we've been doing in that center. The first thing we're going to talk about is graduation, and that was our big charge, was to increase graduation by 10%, and we did do that. So go ahead, Pierre.
Thank you. So we've provided a slide or information with the numbers from graduation last year, fall 2011 to summer 2012, and did a comparison for fall 2012 to summer 2013. Summer is still pending. We worked with Yash's department to get the fall numbers. We worked with the registrar for the spring numbers, and we're looking at a 50.2% increase from last year, which is really phenomenal and really just says a lot about the SFCC community and how they really came together and said, you know, we're going to increase graduation, and these numbers really show how the community has come together.
And I do have to credit President Guzman. I mean, she was the one who said, we've got to increase graduation. And the whole community got behind that. So this
I started with 10%, but then I thought, no. So I go to Carmen, I go 15%. She goes, nope, you said 10%, we're staying at 10%.
Well, I had to create this office with no money and no people.
So fortunately, we all like to exceed expectations. So as far as degrees and certificates, we're looking at a 40.8% increase, again, pending summer. And then in terms of the graduation ceremony, we had a 93% increase in the number of students who walked this year, which is extraordinary. And I think that, again, the staff really pulled together and worked with students, faculty to get them graduated and their petitions in so that they could walk and we had a good turnout.
Another thing that we did is, President Guzman said this is what they did at Palo Alto, is we purchased their gowns, caps and gowns, and they just borrowed them for the day, and then they returned them afterwards. And that seemed to really be helpful to them. They didn't have to purchase those for a one-time use.
And even if it's $20,
That's
you know, it's like, no, I can't take it away from my children. And so we just wanted to just open access and graduate as many as wanted to walk.
So as far as those numbers go, things are looking very promising. And we'll have updates hopefully by the end of the summer when we have that new batch of graduates coming through. Now, as far as the academic advisement piece worked for the Center for Academic Transitions, we had a calling campaign targeting students with 45 plus credit hours. So prior to my arrival, Dr. Guzman and Dr. Gonzalez had Yash's department work, or institutional research, work on collecting this or gathering this report with students who had earned 45 credit hours or more, and had been enrolled in the fall 2012 semester. And we contacted those students, and it was, again, a collaborative effort. So the counselors worked with us, and Kahalan, the allied health advisor, and myself, and we reached out to those folks. We also offered services for by appointment and walk-in. So we did degree planning, degree audits, graduation advisement, so helping students with their petitions. We worked on career counseling, transfer advising, and referrals to campus resources. And again, we staffed the center with the counselors and the allied health advisor and myself, and we were the folks who offered those appointments and walk-ins.
And another thing that we have as part of the CAT, and it had been going on before, but now we've incorporated it into CAT, is Transfer Day. And we had twice as many institutions in the spring as we did in the fall. I mean, that whole entry area was full of various institutions. And then Pierre was able to meet with a lot of them we got lots of swag, as she calls it, from all the different institutions. So we've got a lot of brochures and information about all the four-year institutions here and beyond here in New Mexico.
And next year, what we'd like to do with them is, we have vans, and we'd like to take some of the students who would want to go to the different institutions. We did that, and that really works very, very well, where you actually take the students and spend one night at the institution and then come back. So we want for next year, it'll be to increase transfer.
I have a question. My grandson is going to Central New Mexico, and him and his girlfriend wanted to transfer into Santa Fe Community College. That's transfer advising, correct?
actually have been meeting with a lot of students who are coming back to SFCC for whatever reason, and I'll do a transfer evaluation to get them back in and get them on track on a degree plan.
Right, because that's what I want. That's what I want them to do.
We have
And-
been doing, I think it evolved into that. I don't know that I initially had planned it, and it's been working out really well, and I think that that's something that's a very natural fit for our
Right.
center.
Well, I came by and I got your card, and he's got your card, and so they're both going to come in and see you.
Excellent.
Good.
Chris, I hope that we are encouraging students to get their AA degree before they transfer. And I suspect that that's true.
That's what we're doing.
Great.
We're trying to get them to either get a certificate or associate's degree. And I don't know whether or not it's something that we want to do in the future, but we might want to look at reverse transfer where they already got at UNM or at HEC somewhere and that they didn't finish their associates. We could get them to finish and then
Yeah.
they finish up their bachelor's.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. And we have a career fair this year. We had 42 companies and organizations, 79 representatives present. We have a career coordinator that has worked really well with different companies, and we actually even had Panera, you know, the new place, come here and interview students, and they hired some students. So we'd like to do a little bit more of that in the future as well through CAT. Okay.
I have a question, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Do you follow up on the students that get jobs? Do you have a way of tracking that, or do you plan to do it in the future maybe, or?
Mr. Chair, Member Bermudez, no, that is one of the hardest things to
It
do,
is.
is to keep track of
Right.
students once, maybe not so much at Santa Fe Community College, but like a four-year institution, they leave and they don't forward their address, you don't have, and our focus this year was on graduation.
Yeah, definitely.
And
I'm
so-
asking about this year, you've done enough.
Yeah, so, but that's not something, it's something that we can look at. And the other thing that I would like to look at is the students who've stopped out, to see if we can bring them back in. That's a whole nother process. And, that are that say have 45 or 50 hours and are very close to having a degree, and just bring them back in to get those final courses.
We had several collaborations throughout the semester. We worked with the Academic Affairs Council. We used to be separate. It was the Student Success Council and the Academic Affairs Council. We've since merged. And I think the advent of that really came when we did the joint council or the co-council meeting and talked about some of the challenges for our students reaching graduation. And we were able to form some subcommittees and committees based on the information that came from that. And as an example, the mandatory academic advising subcommittee was formed out of that council meeting, so that was great. We partnered with student development to host university and an employer forum so that we could try to get a leadership certificate, which did pass through curriculum committee and is with HED now. We just need a SIP for it, and that was really an enlightening experience, but also one that allowed us to partner with the community members. So we worked with Target, CenturyLink, Rising Stars, New Mexico Highlands, and State Employees Credit Union, and they talked to us about possibly sending their employees to SFCC to obtain this leadership certificate rather than bringing in consultants to do leadership trainings for their staff. And that forum went really well for us. We also hosted four-year representatives.
I just want to mention something too. I went out with one of my former regents, and he works with this leadership group, Rosemont, and they're partnering with UNM and NMSU to do this. And they've brought in like 30 high school students that they're going to do this leadership program with. And I was telling him about the ambassadors and also about the leadership certificate, so he's very interested in meeting with us
Great,
about that.
yeah.
We hosted four-year representatives, so as a result of the transfer fair, asked for anyone who was interested in coming to our center and giving information to our students was able to do that So they set up tables outside and had the traffic coming through. University of Phoenix, New Mexico Highlands took us up on our offer, and so we had about 4 dates scheduled in the spring semester. And we also hosted on-site interviews for Panera Bread. They interviewed 9 students and hired 5 on the spot. So that was a great turnout. And beginning in the fall of 2013, we're wanting to do a transfer pilot with Western New Mexico University, working with Capitol High School's AVID program. And I met with them last week and worked with Marcos from recruitment. And we're now in the process of drafting up the memorandum of agreement so that the students could allow us to share information so that we can show them their progress at SFCC and their progress at Western New Mexico. So what they're going to get to complete a degree with us and how those credits will transfer to Western. And we're hoping to pilot that. And since they're not a member of the HEC, we felt that this was another way to continue the promotion of transfer to the 4 years within the state.
So what we want to do in the future is, of course, continue the graduation initiative. We want to organize campus visits to 4-year institutions, and actually Pierre and I both went through driver's ed.
Did you?
So we can take the band. We want to offer employers opportunities to recruit and interview students on campus. I mean, that Panera process really worked well. We want to host more 4-year representatives on campus. We are in the process of hiring a full-time advisor to help with the advising in that office. And we want to partner with the master's program, which is the early college high school here on campus. And one other thing that's not on this list that we want to do is Pierre's done such a great job that we want to make her a director instead of a coordinator.
I see that was the name she was called, so maybe.
Thank you. I do also want to add, I hosted the New Mexico Education Council last week, and they're members of the 4-year institutions, admissions representatives, and we talked about the possibility of them hosting our students for those campus visits, so using the residence halls if necessary, and they're all very excited for that opportunity. So conversations have started to move in that direction so that we're preparing the 4 years for our visits come the fall and spring.
And I know we could partner with them, like we take the students down there, they'll feed them, they'll do some of the things that we may not have to do everything for that, so.
Question. So, we had 50% in the graduation, what's going to happen next year? Because, that maybe it first initially was just such a good program that it caught a lot of people that were just, do you think it's going to be just as high? And if it is, what do we do? It's like, how do we prepare for a bigger graduation?
Mr. Chair, we actually, it was almost kind of a nightmare, graduation, and only because, we are a community college and they're first generation, often, first generation students, and they want to bring this boatload of family and friends to come see them graduate. And we were only able to accommodate 5 people per person. I mean, some people ended up getting extra tickets because not everybody used 5 tickets. So we've really got to rethink how we're going to do graduation. It may be that we do 2 graduations in one day. It may be that we move somewhere else. We've got to we've looked at a couple of other places that aren't much bigger than here, so that seems like a lot of trouble and a lot more money. But I have a feeling that maybe next year we still keep the 10%, that it's going to level off eventually. We did get a bunch of people, but I think we could still increase it for a while.
The 5 guests, that was just I think that was a problem because it was got noticed. They didn't get noticed quick enough, so if we
Change.
Yeah, it just change, so but it was great. It was great to have so many people there, and it was a wonderful thing.
But in my experience, the first year you'll have a bump like this, but I will tell you that with a Center for Academic Transitions that is focused on graduation, I still expect a 25% from this year. I mean, it makes such a huge difference, because what we see over and over again is that the students begin to just kind of take courses and not keep track of all that they have done. And so what this does, it's almost acting in loco parentis, is saying, let's look and see what you've got, and let's see how we can move you ahead. So I really do believe that you will continue to see increases in, not the 50%, because these were the easy pickings that we got. But easy or not, they'll still be there.
I think there's several other things that we're doing that
Yes.
will contribute
I
to
agree.
the, increased graduation. One will be when we institute mandatory advising, because one of the things that we find that keeps students here forever is self-advising, and they're not taking the right classes, and then they run out of financial aid, and then, they're in trouble. But, so I think with mandatory advising, we're going to really beef up the advising with both professional staff and faculty. And, probably another area that we want to work closely with is the academic side, the deans. And because President Guzman came in and said, we're going to increase graduation by 10%, it wasn't just the Center for Academic Transitions. It was every school got on that bandwagon and worked at it. And so it was, it was a collaborative process, I should say.
That's how it should be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and the chairs really loved being able to hug the students and shake their hands,
That was a good one, yeah.
because the lower you get, the more they have something to do with the students. And so for the chairs to be able to participate in the celebration of graduation really made a difference to the chairs. And so now we plan for them to compete as to the number of graduates.
Great.
Thank you.
Anything
Thank
else?
you very much. Just
Thank
Thank
you
you.
very
good job.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
The next thing that I have, an update to the board, is the strategic planning update, but since we've been there all day, I think you can just tell them how well they did and goodbye.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, Madam President, you guys did a great job. Have a good day.
I think that was a Guinness World Book of,
Yeah, that's right. The next one is the presentation of awards, and I don't think that this has been done here before, but Mary Ellen came to my office and left all these awards. And so when I saw them, I thought, what are these? And I just thought that you should know how well our Phi Theta Kappa is doing at SFCC and the number of awards that we got from Phi Theta Kappa. So Mary Ellen,
Hey,
welcome.
Oh, thank you. Chair Beta, President Guzman, board. I'm Phi Theta Kappa president. I've been ambassador team leader, and I will be your new student government president.
Welcome.
great.
Thank you. Phi Theta Kappa was established in 1918 to recognize academic achievement among two-year college students and provide eligible students with the opportunity for academic, personal, and professional achievement. There are chapters in the United States and all over the world. U.S. territories, Canada, Germany, the British Virgin Islands, the Republic of Palau, the Federated States of Micronesia, the Republic of the Marshall Islands, the United Arab Emirates. Phi Theta Kappa is an international honor society and symbolizes fellowship, leadership, service, and scholarship. There are over 1,200 chapters worldwide, and they all compete for the awards we got. Santa Fe Community College had its first induction in 2008, and it's ongoing. Santa Fe Community College Phi Theta Kappa Alpha Kappa Xi chapter has a criteria for eligibility for each student that becomes Phi Theta Kappa. It is 3.4. We have provisional at 3.2. If a student really wants to get in, they can, and they become volunteer until they get their 3.5, and then they become eligible, official Phi Theta Kappans. The benefits of being a member of Phi Theta Kappa are the transfer scholarship opportunities, higher acceptance into the schools, and schools requesting the presence at their schools, higher employment rates, over 700 four-year institutions totaling 37 million in scholarships have been offered to Phi Theta Kappans. We have a website to assist members in their search for scholarships and transfer schools called FISH. If a member wants to go on to receive a higher education, there are resources through the FISH website to help these students. It is not required of the member to transfer to a four-year school. They are required to finish their associates if they want to be Phi Theta Kappa. And they usually do anyway. I am going to talk to you about the certificates. Oh, there's a few more things I wanted to talk about. Students acquire skills through our 5 stars, honor in action, and many other project activities. Phi Theta Kappa obtains leadership scholarships through these hallmarks of scholarship, leadership, fellowship, and service. Participation is not encouraged to attend the meetings, but it is encouraged. Members participate in the community college activities and events with ambassadors, student council, student government, and many other clubs. Leadership, achievement, and retention are important to the mission of Phi Theta Kappa. We worked towards and exceeded the expectations and goals we wanted to meet this year. We received several awards and recognitions, many of them with distinction. Our Phi Theta Kappas worked diligently to receive these awards. I've handed out I'm going to show you up there now. There are countless numbers of awards that are not going to be shown today. The 5-star Honors Award, Mazel Award, and Pinnacle are very high achievements for our school and recognition of our school. The Mazel Award, which was received by Jane Abbott, my advisor for Phi Theta Kappa, and $5,000 was for her personal and professional enrichment. These awards are rarely given. Only 2 people got those awards this year. Internationally, worldwide, only 2 people got those. The Pinnacle Award is given to a chapter whose induction has risen. For many years, we have been increasing our induction members. This year, we had the most inductees, 45, and that is really a lot of members. And I believe that we're going to have a lot more members this year for the next semester. We have a little over 200 Phi Theta Kappa members in our school. If you were at the graduation, you saw how many graduates were Phi Theta Kappas. I attended the Honors Institute and feel that it is a wonderful experience for any student to be Phi Theta Kappa. It has enriched my life in many ways, educationally, bonding with other Phi Theta Kappas. A lot of the skills that I have learned as president have been through the Ambassadors Program with Ernest Kavanaugh, with Jane Abbott as my advisor and both of them as mentors. I know that the teachers on campus are wonderful. Martha Sorensen, Margaret Peters, Bruno Gagnon, they have all given me advice when I've needed it. Down in OSD, I also have Ernest down there, Justine, Janet Berry. Whenever I need anyone, they are there. I had a little bit of a problem, and I went to Dr. Gonzalez, and she opened the doors to me, and she talked to me, and she made me feel better. How many schools have an open door policy where a student who is upset can go in and say, I'm worried about my grades, or I have this issue? This is one of the only schools that does that, and I think that's so important to the students, because that's difference between a student walking out the door or staying for graduation. I'm going to talk about the awards now. The first one is the Rising Star Award. The Rising Star Award is given to chapters who exhibit promise for the future. Santa Fe Community College Phi Theta Kappa Alpha Kappa Xi chapter has exhibited excellence in many areas and exemplifies leadership, scholarship, and fellowship. Distinguished College Project Award. Award given to chapters that have shown distinction and excellence in college projects of Phi Theta Kappa. College projects performed by Santa Fe Community College Phi Theta Kappa. The projects were C4, Commit to Complete, Faculty Appreciation, Mazel Award given to Jane Abbott for Service Excellence, participation in Earth Week by Phi Theta Kappa, fellowship and collaboration with Santa Fe Community College ambassadors and Santa Fe Community College student government, and many, many other projects we performed. 5-star chapter development plan. This is the biggest award we get because it entails everything, and it's an international award. Santa Fe Community College Phi Theta Kappa Alpha Kappa Xi has completed all the requirements of 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, and 5-star chapter development plan and submitted all the hallmarks. Santa Fe Community College Phi Theta Kappa Alpha Kappa Xi has not only reached 5-star status, but has reached the highest distinction a chapter and a school Santa Fe Community College can receive. Most Distinguished Chapter Award. Award given to Santa Fe Community College Phi Theta Kappa has received the highest recognition for a school, Santa Fe Community College. The highest honors of distinction and has obtained the highest standards of excellence in all hallmarks. C4 Community College Completion Course Commit to Complete Incentive. Award for having raised awareness throughout the student body of Santa Fe Community College of the importance of completing a college credential. Over 100 students from Santa Fe Community College signed and committed to complete the credential program. C4 banner is placed and hung on the left side of the wall as you exit the elevator in the atrium. And we plan to get 200 this year. Distinguished Honors in Action Project Award. Award given to Santa Fe Community College Phi Theta Kappa for having reached the highest distinction and excellence in performance and having reached all the hallmarks of the 5-star chapter Honors in Action project. Pinnacle Platinum is rarely ever given and is also international. The Platinum Award is the top award. Award given for having reached the highest numbers of students inducted in one semester for Santa Fe Community College Phi Theta Kappa Alpha Kappa Xi chapter. 45 students were inducted. This 45 students, most of them were over 3.4 averages, and that's another reason why we got the award. Okay, something's meant. Oh no, it's okay. Honors in Action Distinguished Theme Award. Award given for having reached the highest research standards, diligence in theme choice, and collaboration with Santa Fe Community College and the Santa Fe community. Induction certificate. This is a certificate we give to every student who is inducted. We feel that they should be honored because they have worked so hard. And they have also they have also met all the requirements for induction into Santa Fe Community College Phi Theta Kappa. Honor Scholars. Award given to students who have completed all requirements and designation as honor scholars and excellent participation in intellectual pursuit at the Phi Theta Kappa Honors Institute. These are my awards. I didn't have the other students' awards, but I thought these would be good for you to see. Only 2 members got them last year, and that was myself and Grace Lucero Terran. I think you guys probably know her, and she was amazing. She got it. Certificate of Appreciation. Certificate given to students who have participated in all activities, events, and projects for Santa Fe Community College Phi Theta Kappa and have shown excellence, dedication, and diligence in service. This award is one of the highest honors that any student can get for Phi Theta Kappa. Grace Lucero Terran, myself, and Mary Kearns received these awards. They're the highest honors given to students who have the utmost commitment to Santa Fe Community College, Phi Theta Kappa, and the community of Santa Fe, in performance to their duties to fellowship, leadership, service, and scholarship. Leadership certificate. The certificate given to newly elected officers with terms of service to Santa Fe Community College Phi Theta Kappa Alpha Kappa Xi chapter. We give these to the leaders because it's an incentive to let them know how important they are to us and how important their work is to the college. And we stress constantly that we are working for the students and for the college to make it a better place, a happy place for the students. Excellence is one of the things that we strive to reach. Right now, we're working on a 2.0 to 3.4. Actually, it's 3.2 provisional, which we will have. But we're working on 2.0 and above. For scholarships, it's going to be a new book that we hope to present to you for scholarships for people who are 2.0s. Why can't they get scholarships also? And they are out there. It's just going to take us some research, and that's another project we have, and we'll probably get an award for that, I hope. So we are working very diligently and hard, and we all love our school very much. My new officers, I have 2 vice presidents, 2 secretaries, a treasurer, and 9 vice presidents of fellowship service and other areas. They work hard. I came in and they only had 3 people when I started. And I thought, well, why? And then I became president. And I sat there and I was used to having to do a lot of work, paperwork and stuff. So I got 2 secretaries and I sat down and I said, I need the names of my members and I need the minutes. That night on my computer, on my website, they were right there. They are amazing. There isn't anything that I don't ask them to do that they don't do for me. They are excellent, excellent officers. I think we're going to have a wonderful year, a higher induction, more awards, and I know we'll reach 5-star again. We are already 3/4 of the way of what we're supposed to do by December. By September, we'll be done, and then we have the fun stuff to do, and we'll have a meeting once a month. So we left the fun stuff for last. Thank you so much for letting me speak today. I am very honored to speak to everyone, and I will take what has happened tonight back to my Phi Theta Kappans and ambassadors and student government. Thank you.
We're very proud of all of you.
Wait. Okay, so have you has this been advertised already in the newspaper, and have you already,
Not yet. It's going to
so
be.
maybe you could speak to Janet Weiss, because you know what, this is exactly what we feel is the most important thing, the success of our students, and showing that. I remember, because I was doing this years ago, and Phi Theta Kappa was just struggling and this is fantastic. Thank you so much. It's it's great.
Yeah, I did speak with President Guzman about getting it in the newspapers. It's going to be worldwide. I'm talking to regional and international about getting in their newspapers. We are now an international, because they have the city, the states, the United States, and international chapters. We have become a worldwide, internationally known Phi Theta Kappa chapter.
Wonderful.
So
We're
Thank you.
proud of all of you.
thank you. Thank you.
So we're on to the May Employee of the Month.
Mr. Chair, President Guzman, distinguished members of the board, good afternoon. My name is John Tapia, and I'm a member of the Safety and Security staff here at Santa Fe Community College. And I'm here this afternoon to represent Safety and Security Director Jerry Ortiz, who unfortunately had a prior commitment and couldn't be here this afternoon. But he did send a few words and asked me if I would stand in his stead, just say a few words on his behalf and to make his nomination for the May's recipient. So, having said that, Mr. Ortiz has selected Yosh Morimoto as the main recipient for the Pass It Forward Award. Mr. Ortiz attributes his selection due to Yash's strong, positive attitude and states that in the short period of time that Yash has been employed with Santa Fe Community College, Yash has projected a sincere willingness to ensure that the college continues to move forward and works to foster relationships which will help to fortify SFCC's goals. Mr. Ortiz congratulates and wishes Yash continued success in all future endeavors. So, congratulations.
Thank you, thank you.
May I be excused?
Yes.
Thank you.
And now the Wowgram, Sandra Lucero, is going to present it. Okay, okay. So we go on. I have the honor to read a resolution for Distinguished Service and Recognition Award. Oh, before I do that, I want to introduce Christopher de la Rosa, our new CIO. Christopher, if you'll stand up. This is our new CIO who came in this week. Welcome. Welcome. So now it's my honor to do the resolution. So Ron, if you will come, and if you want to bring, if you have your family.
She said no.
She said no. Come on.
No is no.
I don't argue with her.
The resolution is whereas Dr. Ron List served as the Vice President for Academic Affairs for 6 years, and whereas Dr. List served as the Quality New Mexico Examiner, and whereas Dr. List developed the first master plan for learning, and whereas Dr. List established the Center for Learning Excellence, providing professional development to SFCC faculty and staff, and whereas Dr. List significantly grew the relationship between the Santa Fe Public Schools, local state charter high schools, and the Santa Fe Indian School, and whereas Dr. List worked with the founder of the master's program, Early College Charter High School, in its development and approval, and whereas Dr. List led the development of articulation agreements with multiple four-year institutions, including those with programs at the Higher Education Center, providing SFCC's graduates with more options. And whereas Dr. List secured a $2.7 million Department of Labor grant, making possible the New Mexico Skill Up Network, and whereas Dr. List positioned SFCC as the lead institution for the New Mexico Skill Up Network, and whereas Dr. List was consistently available in person or through technology to assist at any time, and whereas Dr. List served as a mentor for both faculty and staff during his tenure at SFCC, and whereas Dr. List established the charge and authority of SFCC's Curriculum Committee, and whereas Dr. List expanded yearly convocation to a week-long professional development activity benefiting both faculty and staff. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the governing board of Santa Fe Community College recognizes Dr. List's outstanding service to the college, academic profession, the college district, the state, and the nation by awarding a Distinguished Service Medallion as recommended by the college president. And be it resolved, along with the medallion and board resolution, a lifetime pass to the SFCC Fitness Center.
That'd be handy.
Will be awarded. Congratulations.
This way, thank you, board. I do appreciate. Thank you for the award, Dr. Guzman. I look around the room and see all the faces that were here before me and will be here after me as I move on to my next place, and really appreciate this kind of award. It's meaningful. One of the things with the Distinguished Service Award that it should say is that I wrote the resolution to get Distinguished Service Awards established at the college. So, thank you again.
Thank you, Ron.
Hi, Mr. Chair.
Okay, Linda? Oh, come on.
On the president's report, I'm sorry I'm late. Did you happen to discuss the number of retirees?
No, we're going to give that out in.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Anything else, Dr. Guzman?
Nope.
All right. Do we have any public comments?
There are no public comments tonight.
Okay, that's good. All right. All right. So we have communications from the Faculty Senate.
And Clark Bond sent me an email saying that this month there hasn't been a Senate meeting, and so there are no minutes.
Okay. And then we have Staff Senate report.
Good evening, Chair Beta, Madam President, members of the board. You can see May was sort of a busy month for us, which was sort of an understatement. If you don't mind, unless you have questions about all the various minutes here, I just want to summarize where we're at now, and basically it would be on the last page, B4, the May 30th meeting. I went back and I reported to the Staff Senate that you all graciously considered the request for the 3%, and everyone was very appreciative that you will attempt, if possible, to make up that other 0.5%. That was very well received. There was some discussion about now that the staff wants to be active, and I still think that's a good thing. I mean, we talk about shared governance, and they want to be active. It's now gotten us back to our Constitution, and there's been some discussion around not everyone can attend meetings. And the good thing about our Constitution is that whatever is presented at the Staff Senate, it has to go on the agenda so that it's published to everyone. And if there's a vote that's going to come up on an issue, everyone can present a proxy vote to the Staff Senate so that everyone can be represented even if they can't attend the meeting. So we are going to make sure that we keep to our Constitution more than we had been in the past, which is a good thing. And then, and then in addition, as I was mentioning, shared governance, there's still a big support for shared governance and the desire to make it be effective here. I know the policy is being reviewed at the moment, and we're going to look at strengthening it and making sure it's everything we want it to be here. And so that is completely supported by the Staff Senate as well. And finally, after all the discussion you've seen through all the minutes, we decided to establish a subcommittee of about, I'd say it's about 12 people who are going to look at issues and things. And I really think it's at a place now where everyone's trying to work together to try and make improvements to the place and support the improvements that are going on and have suggestions that staff has of their own that might be in addition to that. So I'm optimistic, and the subcommittee's been meeting, but it hasn't concluded yet. But I'm sure you'll see more about that in future minutes. So unless there's any questions, that's my report.
Andrea?
I just want to say that I really appreciate the very respectful tone of your minutes, and also I'm amazed at the increase in participation. It's really doing a very good job getting people represented, voices represented.
Thank you. And I should give credit to the other officers. Jeannie Archuleta actually does the minutes. She's very very detailed about it because she tapes them and then transcribes from a tape. And then Nina Rees, who's our communications officer, makes sure it gets out to everybody. And so we try to keep it as organized as possible, and that's what we're trying to do. Thank you. Any other questions?
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. I don't see a student government representative. Do we have a student government report? No? Okay. But you'll be our new president? Okay, so we'll see you August the 20th? All right? I'm really excited that you're going to be here. Thank you. Now we're going to have approval of the consent agenda, minutes from the work session May 21st. minutes on the regular board meeting, and approval of the financial report. Do we have a motion to,
Could we remove the financial report from the consent agenda?
okay, do we need a motion for that?
Yeah. I'll move that we remove the financial report from the agenda.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, so the motion has been made to remove the financial report. Do we have any discussion on that at all?
There's one more thing in the consent agenda, that's the policy. The academic calendar policy is there.
Oh, we shouldn't have that.
No, but I'm saying it's there and it wasn't mentioned as part of what we will approve.
Yeah.
If we do.
Oh, down here on the policy. Okay, I was gonna do the three and then go on. Do we, so we're gonna include all within the,
Well, maybe we better take that one out too, because that's the one we were fixing from the last meeting, right?
okay, so do we hear a
So my motion is to take out the financial and the academic calendar.
okay, both, C and D, we have a motion, a revised motion. Do we have a second? Okay, so we don't have a second on that one, and, so do we go back to just the financial report? We had a second on that. Do we have any discussion at all? Okay, a motion has been made to remove the approval of the financial report. All those in favor?
Aye.
Again? Okay. So the motion passes, and,
So I just wanted to have some questions about what changes. This is what we talked, the policy is what we talked about fixing at the last meeting.
that's policy, I-9, SF academic calendar development, correct?
Yeah.
But the motion
But the
died.
point of order,
okay.
there's no,
Yeah, there's no motion on the
Okay.
table.
Okay, so there's no motion on it. All right.
Guess I can't ask my questions.
No.
Okay.
All right, so it passes. Do we have a motion to approve these, A, B, D?
Second.
All those in favor? All those against?
No.
All right, so noted. We don't have Kathy here,
Can break the tie.
you can vote.
okay, I vote to accept. All right, and so it passes to accept A, B, and D under approval of consent agenda. Let's move on then. Action items removed from consent agenda for discussion. Does that come under the thing now for the policy? All right,
Just
No,
the
that's
financial report.
okay.
Report first.
All right. And that's it then. Okay, action items, approval of post,
Wait, we have to go, the financial report was removed, and so that's the next item of business.
oh, I'm sorry, that's okay.
Could
Okay,
Merity come up?
all right. I'm
I
sorry.
really don't like the financial report being on the consent agenda, because I think we should look at it and ask questions if.
So Chair Abeyta and Board Member Siegel, do you want me to give the financial report or stand for questions? How do you want me to approach it?
Well, can you just give a overview?
Yes, I sure
of
will.
Anything
Okay.
Let me just clarify, what we've been doing most months is during the work session, Merity has been going over the financial reports. And so that's why it's in the consent agenda. And so we'll just keep it in the work agenda so that it doesn't have to be here. Okay.
Unless we want to ask
Unless,
questions
exactly.
here.
Well, you can ask questions there, though.
Yeah, but that's
you're
not
there.
taped.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I think it's important if the public wants to know
Okay.
what we're doing with our money.
Okay, so, just to ask a question there, Chair Siegel, well, I mean, member, what do we do? Do we have to change the way we approach the financial report, or?
Well, we used to always have the financial report in the board meeting, even if we discussed it in the work session, which we haven't always gotten to it because we've had so much in the work session.
Okay, so then we need to be able to change our agenda so that it comes up in a different way or a different place, so that we're able to have the freedom to do that. Well, that's fine. That's Rosemary, you can do that, right? So okay. Do we need an action item to do that?
You want it placed under action items.
Yeah, that's it.
In
Yeah.
the future.
In the future,
Just-
so tonight we are all ears.
Thank you.
All right, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I think the three main things that we would like to talk about when we're talking about the financial report that the board should be concerned with at this time is, our cash and banks adequate, still going along the trends that we want them to be? Are we going to meet our revenue projections? And are we going to meet our budget? And so those are important indicators for the month of April. We are definitely going to meet our revenue projections, and we are likely to exceed them. Property taxes and the collection rates are coming in at better than expected. When I originally put a budget together, especially on property taxes, because of the volatility of post-recession trends, I usually budget them fairly conservatively, and then they generally come in higher. That's what I've been doing over the last 3 years. So we're going to see that trend again. One of the things that Dr. Guzman wants to do with those kinds of savings then is to use those savings for equipment purchases and the like that we always get put on hold when we're doing our priority setting. So we will be meeting our revenue projections. I also believe that we will be coming in on budget overall on our ING budget. There's a few skewed things there with student services and some of those areas. The trend comparisons are difficult because over the recession there was a lot of things that were skewed with enrollment trends going up, using temporary employees to take care of that. So there's a lot of things that are skewed. So what we look at is the trend, and right now, the time trend, and right now our year is 83% complete, and we have expended 81% of our budget. So we do expect that we will meet the budget or come in a little under budget as a result of that. I don't know if there's any particular questions,
Well,
Chair Abeta.
Mr. Chair, on the early childhood, it looks like now we're at a $166,000 deficit. So is that pretty much what we're going to end the fiscal year with?
That probably won't be the case, because what happens is, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on the details. Generally, we take in contracts and we get the revenue from those contracts, but we don't have those contracts that will be happening new revenue over the next 2 months, but we will see expenditures. So there will be activity. It won't just stay at that rate.
So it'll be more?
It will be, come on in, Bob.
It'll be more. And that brings up a point, and that is that many colleges close their early childhood centers in the summer because a different kind of student comes in the summer, and because you have the staff and the cook, the expenses, it's very hard to not lose major amounts of money in the summer. And I think Maggie has really done a good job of establishing a new leadership camp from 5 to 8 to kind of supplement the little children that have left with their parents. But I think we really need advice from you in looking at just closing right when school ends and then opening when school begins. That's going to hurt our community enrollment, but I think that we have done a good enough job that more and more students are wanting to put their children in the early childhood center.
If I could just summarize too quickly. As you recall, we created the plan last fall, but we didn't get to implement it for the first half of the year. So we entered January with a deficit. We had a couple HR issues that occurred at the campus, and that was it was some money that we didn't expect to be in the budget. But in the most part, we are still trying, and start July 1st, when we really want to track this new plan, we're intending it to be as close to zero deficit as possible. And if we couple that with the summer program that Dr. Guzman was just alluding to, I believe, Maggie, we have 85 people in it. We have 85 people, so we're anticipating that being a success as well. So right now, we're on a successful up curve. We need to monitor it. We will not end this fiscal year without a deficit, but we're hoping it's going to be less than last year. And if you recall, last year we got a big boost from the Grow Foundation, which we're not getting this year to my knowledge. And I think we're still going to beat last year. So we will continue to track this, but I can't tell you at the end of this fiscal year there won't be a deficit, but everything is trending in a very nice direction.
If you'll look at page 2 of the monthly financial report, C16, you can see, though, the prior year to date at the same time last year was 171, and the current year to date is 166. So we're improving, but it's not dramatically at this point. I mean, we're not seeing that. So
is it part of the plan to get rid of the summer, to close the summer?
Well, we
that
wanted
will
to-
be the end of our private.
Well, the community,
people.
yeah, of the community.
will
Yeah.
be
We
done.
wanted to first get your input on it before we did that. That's why we haven't said anything, but we thought that that would be a good discussion for next year. We can look.
Also was to have the summer program that went through age 8 and see how successful it was. And right now, it looks like that's going to be very successful. So
Yes.
we have to get that data before we make any decisions.
That's right.
If
That's
that would be
right.
successful,
Yeah.
there may be no reason to
That's
do it.
right.
And what's the projected revenue from that?
About 25,000 for the summer.
Oh, very good.
Is that net? Okay, so.
But that's 2 months or 3 months? 12 weeks. 12 weeks.
But, I wanted to just make a comment, Meredy and Bob, is that when we started out years ago, I mean, we were so deep into it, and I think that, maybe the goal wasn't this year or maybe in a few years, but it's positive. We're moving positively, and to give the services for the young kids and have the kids college, I think that's great. And so maybe we didn't expect it to break even or whatever, but it's better than what the 400 or 600 whatever it was before. Oh my God,
And also, Maggie has just, and I want to jinx this, so knock on wood, but Maggie has just applied for 2 additional grants because more funding is coming into early childhood programs.
Right.
Of course, we don't want to, get addicted to that again, but
No.
still, in the short run, that will give us some.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And what is that funding?
New Mexico pre-K
Right.
application went
Okay.
in last week.
Uh-huh.
We asked for 72,000 to fund 1 classroom half a day. And then the C Campus grant.
Oh, those are great.
Available again.
Perfect.
It comes out on a 4-year cycle. It's due on Monday.
Yes.
We've been really working hard on that.
And that's scholarship money.
Federal?
It's scholarship money for students who can't afford the early childhood. They pay for the children.
And would it be children of students from the college, or would
Yes.
be? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, it is.
Yes.
It's
It's out of the Department of Education.
great.
And
So what?
how many pre-K slots is that?
It would be 24 pre-K slots.
So we have reason to be optimistic, I guess.
The other things is we have hard choices to make. For example, babies are the most
They're
expensive.
loss
The
leaders.
ratio is.
And, yes, and so in most early childhood and colleges, they start at the toddler age, where then we're not losing as much. And so maybe what we can do is for September, in the August meeting, give you some options versus costs so that you can guide us on how we should. One is to not include community, because if we don't have the year-round, then it's not good for the community. But a lot of teachers from the elementary school bring their children here, so that might not exclude that part of the community. So we'll give you some options so you can guide us, so we can accomplish our goal not being in the red.
When you get this, if you do get this grant, do you work with a student activities department, or do you work with a specific department to find out what students are in most need, financial aid, or whatever? What do you do?
We take the students who are already enrolled, have children enrolled at Kids Campus, because they're
They're
first in line.
first priority.
Right. So the students who have children already enrolled in Kids Campus, we would look at whether or not they were taking classes full-time, whether they were degree seeking. There's an application that they fill out to be eligible for the C Campus grant funds, and then they get awarded the money from
So what department do you work with?
financial aid.
Financial aid, basically, yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good.
Chairman Abeta,
Sorry.
approval of the financial report.
Second.
I have one more question about debt service. On the local taxes debt service, the 3.9 million of actual, and the rest of that is going to come in by the June?
Actually, July.
By July.
The property tax collections come in mainly 2 times a year. It's just like when you pay, and so then that's processed and that comes in. So we'll get another 1.9 million in June, and then another substantial amount in July. So those look like that they're going to hold.
We'll meet that.
You will definitely meet it. It's likely that by year end, by the time we meet when we give the June report, all the accruals aren't always in there, but by the time you get the accruals, you'll exceed your local appropriations. I think it could almost be even like 15.8 or 15.9 even, but definitely 15.6 or 7.
Okay, great.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions? Do we have a motion to accept the financial? Second?
We already have it.
All right. Any more discussion? All right. Those in favor of accepting the financial aid report, the financial report?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. And thank you for saying a beta instead of a beta.
Beta, I'm learning.
Thank you so much.
Old dog.
You know what? I had somebody in the community come up and say, I heard him say a beta, and tell him that it's a beta, you know. People actually watch the board meetings on TV.
And I have my friends and the director of personnel had me practice quite a bit, Dr. Guzman as well, and I think I'm doing better than that.
Thank
It
you.
used to be Guzman, and so I think I'm doing better at that one too.
Thanks.
Do you want me to stay for the tab?
Yes, okay. So approval of post-issuance compliance procedures for bonds.
Yes. Now, this is all in writing. I don't know if you want me to go over it. It's just something. It's a new force coming from the IRS since the 2010 issue that we had. They really want these compliance procedures in place. The board generally doesn't approve procedures; they approve policy. But this was important enough. We wanted to have it documented that we have these compliance procedures. These were put together with the help of our legal counsel. And so they're pretty prescriptive. It's not like you have a lot of leeway in this. It's pretty prescribed by the Internal Revenue Service what they want. And so we're just asking the board to approve the procedures.
And who is responsible for doing this?
This will be your fiscal officer.
For following all these rules?
And we do, and we know what they mean. This is something that's known what arbitrage is, how to do those things. So it's not anything new that we have to do.
We've never approved this before.
No, the IRS didn't. This was about 2011 when they started coming in. They wanted written procedures and boards to acknowledge them, and for just to shine a lot of light on this, to make sure because the muni bond market is a very different kind of market, and so they wanted to make sure that there's a lot of integrity with that market. Because there's a lot of risk-free implications to the rates on those bonds. And so they wanted to really step up the game to make sure that muni bond holders not holders, but issuers were very, very aware of what the requirements are when you release muni bonds. But the rules haven't changed. It's just that they're documented and very aware.
So with the IRS, as long as we don't use the name Tea Party.
IRS, yeah.
All right, so we have to do a motion
Approved.
for approval for the post.
Approve.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the motion passes. Thank you. Mr. Rivera, we have for approval for a request for additional research and public service project funds for Small Business Development Center for fiscal year 15.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Senor Avita.
Andale.
President Guzman and members of the board, thank you for the opportunity to present this request to you. This is a request to that will be submitted to the New Mexico Legislature through the Higher Education Department to continue the operations of the NMSBDC, which includes 20 statewide service centers, as well as 2 specialized programs, one in procurement and one in international trade. And the request is for $4.3 million for the items listed on the request form. Any questions?
Any questions? Linda?
So why, I don't recall ever seeing us approve this before, so, and it seems early. Is there some reason we're doing it right now? Is HED saying they want it right now?
Yes, yes, ma'am. They need it as, if it's for an expansion, yes, they need it now.
Oh, because it's a 200,000 expansion, that's
Correct.
why we're doing it?
Correct.
If we were going with the norm, with the amount we've had in the past, we wouldn't have to do this.
That is correct.
Okay,
It's about a month ahead of the normal process.
okay.
All right. Do we have a motion to?
Move approval.
Okay, Linda, do we have a second? Second, Kathy. Those in favor, oh, well, discussion, do we have discussion, any more discussion on it?
Just very quickly, I just want to say that my organization in my personal life partners very professional life maybe partners very closely with the small business development centers. I think they're a great resource to the state of New Mexico, and I'm very proud of Santa Fe Community College's leadership with the SBDCs in New Mexico.
Thank you. That's a good discussion. Okay, so those in favor of approving the additional research?
Aye.
All those against? Okay, the motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Rivera.
Thank you very much.
You know, I think that something was that we didn't include here. I wanted to get Tina Little-Dusky Taylor to do an update for us. Is it?
It's in the agenda.
It is. I just missed it. Okay. I think it's these glasses or something.
Here? It's the update on the HEC.
I don't see it.
Up at the top.
Well,
Well,
I want it anyway.
Yeah.
I don't see it.
okay. Well, is it?
Part of my
It's okay. Tina, you ready? Good.
Chair Abeta.
Veta. Well, I've already, we've
Board
talked about
members.
it.
Dr. Guzman asked me to give you an update on the HEC construction project schedule. When I last reported to you, we were still anticipating that we were going to have an opening for the HEC building in fall of 2014. Since the beginning of May, when we got all of our construction team members on board, we've been meeting on a weekly basis to get all the information together that we need, and to, now that we have our construction manager at risk, to do the schedule development to find out what is the most realistic way to do it. And at this point, we are recommending that the most prudent course of action would be to plan on a spring of 2015 opening, which is January of 2015. And the major reasons, well, many of them you're very well aware of, but first and foremost, we had over a year delay, having to go through litigation to get final building design approval from the HED. And because we had that 1+ year hiatus, we had to update the building program based on current conditions and to allow Dr. Guzman to provide input on the vision for the building. And we also had to revise the schematic design accordingly and fortunately we haven't had major changes from the original vision, but it did take time to go through that process and to revisit things. It also meant that we have additional costs because essentially we had to do two major aspects of the construction process over again, updating the building program and then the schematic design. And then we also had to redo the RFQ for the construction manager at risk, which we had started and we put on hold because we had to go through the litigation. So in the construction team meetings, we have determined that the most aggressive schedule would get, and the most optimistic schedule at this particular point in time would mean that the building would be constructed by the end of August of 2014. But that would be with absolutely no contingency for weather-related factors, or it will not give us sufficient time to do cost estimating or constructability studies, all of which are very critical components of the construction manager at risk process, and why we chose to do it, so that we can guarantee that the building will be constructed within schedule, a realistic schedule, and within budget, with minimal, if no, change orders at all. So the construction project team recommended to Dr. Guzman, and she agrees, and she actually reminded me that she said a while back that she thought it was more likely we were going to have a spring of 2015 opening. But again, that means with that schedule, the construction would be completed by the beginning of December, which would give us approximately 45 days, including over the semester break, to do move-in and debug things and everything, and to do it at a downtime so we can get all of our operations folks assisting with the move-in. Mm-hmm. So that is what I was asked to report to you today, and I hopefully I can see some heads nodding, yes, that it does make a lot of sense. Yes, yes.
And in the program design, the deans worked with Tina, which academic affairs had not had the time before to work. And so we actually know what programs from SFCC are going to move until we have more numbers of students. And so this gave the deans and academic affairs in Ron's area to really design the rooms in a better manner, so that we'll be able to fill the 2 floors right away.
That's great. Question. So, on a lot of construction projects, they always have the contracts and say you have to finish by a certain time. Does that mean we haven't really done, or is the construction group going to be penalized if they don't finish it by a certain time? And
no, we Chair Abeta, we have not negotiated the guaranteed maximum price with the schedule and all of that yet. And we're not behind. I mean, we're right on schedule in terms of the construction manager at risk process. So the construction project team will be meeting with Dr. Guzman on July 8th to give her the full overview, and then we'll be moving along. But I want to tell you that team, they are so relieved, because we want to do it right, and we want to take sufficient time to make sure that we don't have any oopses, and we take full advantage of that construction manager at risk process. And we've waited this long, and we still have the capability for one more semester to keep the on-campus pilot, and that gives us more time also to do fundraising activities, because we've had additional costs. There most likely will be some budget gaps and everything, and we are very proactively identifying what those are, and we're also looking for partners to help share some of the costs. Like we will be having a ReadyNet connection to provide internet access to that campus, and high-speed internet access. So everything is kind of really falling into place for this revised timeline of a spring 2015 opening.
Kathy first.
Mr. Chair, a quick question, Tina, about kind of public awareness of the new date. I know that we have pretty heavily spread that we're going to be ready for fall, and now we're moving it to spring. Is there a communications plan to let the community know about the new open date?
Chair Abeta and Board Member Keith, yes, I mean, and actually, we just identified that the most aggressive and optimistic schedule would have that the end of August completion date or whatever, and I just was able to have a conversation with Dr. Guzman last Thursday to make her aware. So this is, late breaking news right now, and then I will be working with NPR and Dr. Guzman to start communicating. And again, I think the business community and people will understand that this is really the most prudent course of action.
Thank you. Andrea?
NMSU, when do they start? And is it distance or are they going to be here physically?
Chair Abeta and Secretary Bermudez, the memorandum of agreement with New Mexico State has them joining the HEC partnership effective July 1st. And the first program we're going to be articulating is engineering technology. We've not completed the negotiations. We don't have their class schedule. All they've told us is that they plan to be offering that program starting in the fall semester. And I will be working with Randy Grissom over the next weeks to find out, where we stand with that. But we actually have the hard copy, original signed copy of the MOA with New Mexico State, and of course they've just gotten a new president too, so they're in a transition phase. But we'll be working with them.
But it's signed by Dr. Pacheco.
Yes,
It's
yes,
a done deal.
yes, it's a done deal.
It's a done
Absolutely.
deal.
So Tina, the word on the street is it's really great that we're working with those three big colleges, the UNM, Highlands, and New Mexico State. The students that I see, just talking with them about the HEC program, they really feel positive, and I think that's a great thing. Getting New Mexico State, whoever was thank you for. That's a great move.
And I think UNM also is beginning to see that they may need to have a presence here. Right. That there is room for growth, and that the internet only, even though it's working for them, they're really beginning to rethink their presence. And so I fully expect for UNM to be offering some classes bodily here.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
We have the next thing is the written reports, information items. I'm hoping that some of you got to read them. Do we need? Okay, go ahead.
Well, the purchase over 100,000 doesn't seem to have any document that pops up. I don't know what it means. Purchases over 100,000, less than 300,000.
All right, Meredith, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair Beta. That is a regular thing that's on the agenda item that we keep there in case there are.
Oh,
But
it's
they're just,
for
it's for. So what we've agreed to is that we will always report purchases over 100, but the board doesn't have to approve till 300, but we always want to report and keep you informed, and there just haven't been any.
So it's a placeholder.
It's a placeholder that we're always going to keep, and that's just to remind us that that's an issue. But there weren't any purchases over 100,000.
And then on the next one, the accounting operations improvement plan.
Yes.
This is all that we're doing to make sure things are functioning well.
Yes, Chair Beta, if I may.
Yes,
Just
you may.
highlight on that. There's a couple of things that are in this. One is the overall plan. And then what's been also put here is I wanted to make sure that we had a master calendar of due dates so that everybody knew, because one of the things that we had a problem with is the controller had their due dates, this person had their due date, everybody had their due dates, but if one person failed, the whole system failed. And so we wanted to make that has every single due date on there, and I wanted to present the master calendar to that because it was named in the plan as something that we would do. Mm-hmm. The next thing on the page on F8 is we wanted to put together a very, very clear audit plan So that, and so what we're doing on F8, we have a committee that's reporting to the Colleges Services Council now, and that committee then meets once a week, and the auditors and the other firm that will be helping us will be meeting with that group once a week as well. This first, for example, this first meeting that we're having on Thursday, we're going to be going over this preliminary plan. Everybody's had their input. We're going to go over to make sure everybody's going to be able to meet their due dates, that all of the tasks get done, that, and another thing, and we're going over all of the board, the items that were on the last board report to make sure that they have been resolved, not the board report, but the audit report. And the third thing we're doing is we're going to be working, one of the things that we wanted to do is eliminate fear in this, because one of the things that happens if somebody can't do something very well, then they're afraid to tell us. So we're gonna eliminate that fear. So we're gonna say we're gonna work it as a team on any of our trouble spots. So there's names on this, and we're gonna be asked, where are the hot spots? Where are you worried? Where makes you not sleep at night? And so that we can work together with the assistance that we have to get the issues resolved. So this is basically on F8, the audit plan. And then there's a plan for deliverables that auditors generally ask for on F10. So I just wanted to present that to the board so that they would be aware, as well as the president, that how formal we are in approaching this audit.
And then we also have the firm of Weiner and Abeta working with them in case they get stuck on something and need additional help to get done. Then they're going to be helping them so that we will all be ready for the audit.
Is that the old auditing firm?
Yes, that's the old auditing firm.
Who's our new auditing firm?
It's out for RFP.
So we were denied at the state.
That's right. That's right. We were denied the double services. And so we decided to go ahead, since the Weiner firm knew where the problems lied and how they could help, it made more sense to make them the consultants that would help finance, make sure that they were ready for the next audit, and then send out an RFP for the audit.
So if we send out another RFP, what's going to be different? Because we only got that one response last time.
Well, we have Mr. McWilliams. Yeah, we have Mr. McWilliams.
And aren't we over the time frame for?
It's been approved. It's been
We're
approved.
okay for
Yeah.
an extension?
Yeah.
Contacted both the state auditor's
Right.
office and HED, and they're going to expedite. They know our
Yes.
situation. They're going to expedite whatever we come up with.
Mhm.
And we can't guarantee that we're going to get any more than one response. However, we saturated it, sending it out to every auditing firm that's on the state auditor's list, from Espanola, Santa Fe, and Albuquerque. And we have gotten some responses back so far, people saying they are going to at least review it. So we can't be sure they will respond, but they say they're going to review it. As well as Weiner and Abeta have said that they've also given us the names of 2 companies that they talk to anonymously who would be interested as well. So I think we're okay.
And Chair,
Time frame on that?
July 1st.
It opened July 1st. Oh, no, it closes July 1st. I'm sorry.
And Chair, I think what makes this better too is now what happened was Abeta and Weiner did not were the original auditors, and everybody just assumed probably that we were going to pick them again. So this opens it up to make it.
Yeah.
So that means we'll have to have a July meeting to approve the new auditor contract. We have to approve the contract.
It can be over the phone.
Yeah. But yeah, you will have to have one.
That's all we need. Yeah.
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 Okay, so Kathy, wait, there's another question?
Mr. Chair, a quick question about timing overall. So we approve the contract for the new auditor in July. When do they start, and when will they be finished with that process, so we know what the new...
Generally speaking, auditors begin before the fiscal year end, and so they'll be here as soon as they can, and it'll be helpful for them that the previous auditors are actually helping. So a lot of this pre-audit work will be happening for them by this other firm, although it won't be official. The audit report is due to the state auditor's office on November 15th.
Okay. Are we going to make that?
We believe we will. It's a significantly different year this year.
Thank you.
Any more questions?
Yeah, on the enrollment update, I just wondering why we would be down. Even though it's not that much.
Find my information. Chair Abeta and Vice Chair Siegel. It is a trend that is happening across all colleges. As we have more jobs and the economy improves, people go back to work. When the economy isn't good, they come back to school. So I think that's part of what's happening. If we look at the fall, it's up, and we're only in the 9th week of registration. So they still have plenty of time. I think that we'll be okay with the fall. And then, we've been meeting with this veterans group, and they tell us that we may be getting as many as 300 veterans coming back from Afghanistan this fall. So we don't know for sure, but we are going to start recruiting veterans as well. So
We're going to set up a veterans center.
A question on the veterans. As a veteran myself and having made a lot of contact with the Veterans Center, have you made any contact with the folks there? Because, as a Vietnam vet, I know that it's more than educational issues that are going to be coming up to our veterans. And I think that, having a partnership and having our counselors be ready for anything that's going on, especially a partnership with the Vet Center, Milo Garcia and the folks there, what's going on?
Chair Beta, there a couple of meetings ago, we had the Veterans Club come in, and they have been talking to them. I have not personally talked to them yet. I will. Who we met with was a TRIO program, Upward Bound, from Taos, and they've got an award, and they've got money, so they can give us funding for people to man the center. We plan to also have our counselors be down there some of the time. We have an advisor who's a vet who will be down there some of the time. And if you want to go down there some of the time, we'd love to have you there.
I think it's really critical. I mean, it's really an issue for me because I remember going to the College of Santa Fe, and I never was introduced to a vet representative. And it now that I think of it, and I say, why?
That was the Vietnam War, remember?
Yeah. It was, and I think it's even worse now. I think that, that there's the problems that we're going to be facing are even worse.
They are coming back in worse shape, I think, a lot of them, but I think there's more support now than there was after the Vietnam War.
But, you have over 600,000 files that are sitting in different offices and different things. And I think a lot of veterans, the suicide rate is higher. Those things, sorry, I've got PTSD, and those are the things that bother me. And so I want to be even more of an advocate to help our veterans coming back from Afghanistan.
Well, we will certainly bring you into the planning of that.
Thank you.
And we're getting ready, and we're seeking them out so that they will feel specially attended when they come.
Right.
So our counselors, how many counselors do we have now that don't do advising but do counseling?
We will have 2 counselors that will be, and right now this summer we're working on a counseling program where they will be focusing on counseling. They will be doing still some advising, especially during the busy, the beginning of each semester. But, providing group work and all kinds of different courses and short courses and stress reduction and anxiety. Yeah, and those kinds of things. So we're working on that right now.
So we only have 2, though, that are...
We only have 2, but I think that's probably enough if their focus is on counseling.
Oh, good. Just, did you want, also there's a vet clinic here in Santa Fe. Did you want them to contact you, or should I pick up a card from you and give it to because I meet with the Vietnam Center, at the center. I meet with them once a week, and I see the doctor's office. I know them and every other week or something.
What I would love to do, Chair Abeta, is if we could meet and you give me some ideas for who to contact and names,
Okay,
and I will do that.
Great, let's do that.
Might add, Chair Abeta, members of the board, we're starting our bioponic greenhouse management program this fall, and the target audience for that is veterans. And although it's open to anybody, it's a condensed 23 credit hour program that you can take in the fall. And we're partnering with an organization that does veterans outreach, and they're providing the greenhouse. And they're going to be working with people to set them up in businesses, running those greenhouses and in jobs. So all the research shows having people come back and work with plants is a great way to get back into the real world. So we think we've already got 10 students in the veterans organizations. We even have students potentially coming from as far away as California for the program.
Great.
So the only other comment I would have is on this portfolio, the GROW portfolio, which looks very interesting. But I'd love to be able to ask questions about it, but.
I will have the Santa Fe advisors come in on
Yeah, I think that'd be good, just so we could,
We'll set it up like quarterly.
Yeah.
That they come quarterly.
That'd be great.
Okay. Any other questions on any of these written things? All right. Number 12, matters related to Santa Fe policy, but there's no policies have been submitted, so do we have anything that would be under that? We don't then, right? Bueno. Tab H, 13, board reports, discussion, other business action, none to report, so none to report. Okay. Because we're going to need something to approve the financial, do we set that up separately? Do we set that up now? And is it going to be over the phone? And it's going to be something just approving it, correct? And so that wouldn't take long, but it has to be an official meeting that has to be done 72 hours. And so Meredy has to contact us to make sure that contract has been approved for who's going to be the auditors, and then from there we're going to do we'll do a meeting. So it's not going to be July 1st. I mean, right?
No.
When do you anticipate it'll be?
It'll be a Chair Beta, and Bob McWilliams, I'm assuming has set up a, and Dr. Guzman, I assume you've set up a review committee. And that review committee then will have to look and then make a recommendation. So who's on your review committee?
I've submitted some names. They haven't been formally
Okay.
approved.
So once we have that review committee, then the review committee should take about a week, I think, to review those and to make a recommendation. You just need to give them time to review and make a recommendation. So I think the second week in July, the third week in July, the sooner the better. I think they'll act quickly. So as maybe perhaps after they come back on the holiday, maybe a phone meeting on that, they'll make the recommendation. It'll take 5 minutes.
Second or third week, we should, as a board members, we should look and look at getting a phone meeting or something happening. So I guess, Rosemary, will you still be with us, still in July? Adios.
We are working on this.
Okay.
We are working on it. We have the group that has qualified, and they have been interviewed, and so we're on the second.
Okay. All right. So our next meeting is scheduled for August the 20th. And do I need to announce anything about the 19th?
What's the 19th?
We were going.
A retreat on strategic planning.
Right. No problem. All right. So do we have a motion to go into executive?
I move go into executive session for the purposes of discussing potential litigation and personnel issues, and I'd like to have the board and the lawyers meet first and then go in.
That has to be requested by the chair.
No, I think the whole board can decide that.
Okay, is that going to be a motion?
That's a motion.
Okay, there's a motion to go into executive session, but the first motion is going into executive session with just the board and the lawyers, correct? Yeah. All right, do we have a second on that? All right, we have a motion and a second. Do we have discussion? No discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, so note that Dr. Bermudez is opposed. All right. Motion passes.
Oh, do we need to, oh no, that's
And after that, we're going to do regular
Executive session.